Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. We are playing Selesnya Value once again, and this time we are playing against 5-colour humans. We are on the play here, and this is our opening hand. It's not perfect. 3 Noble Hierarchs is slightly more than we want, but it's not terrible. We've got Ramp, and we can play pretty much anything in our deck. Hopefully we can draw into a 3-drop maybe, and have something to play on turn 2 ahead of curve. Otherwise we're playing a voice and a second hierarch, which still isn't bad, so relatively happy with the hand. Opponent leads with an unclaimed territory, naming human, which makes it fairly clear what he is on. So just going to run out our voice and play the noble hierarch. Pass the turn back. Okay, so on to our opponent's turn. Opponent's going to play a meddling mage, naming collected company, which is pretty sensible. We draw a bop, which isn't ideal. Attack for 4 here. Should have ran out the third hierarch before attacking to get that extra point of damage in, but never mind. So we drop hierarch and a second voice of resurgence. Let's go over my opponent's land. I'm not fully up on the 5-colour humans deck lists that are running around at the moment, but I know that they're very light on basic lands, so I was kind of hoping that he might not be able to hit anything off of that. He did run a basic plains, it would appear. I'm not entirely sure how many basics he's got, but still kind of stand behind that. Potentially sees him off colours, and potentially could have been a wasteland if he hadn't had a basic in his deck. Certainly very non-basic heavy is the mana base. One plays a Thalia and a hierarch of their own, which is relatively fine. We have to attack for 5 here with our voice. And run out. I'm not sure why I didn't run out the bop there. I mean, there's not a whole lot of reason to run out bop, but might as well have put it out there. Well, there's a reflector mage, which is going to bounce one of the voices, and also a champion, which is going to get pumped by the reflector mage, and then he's going to be able to attack us for 4 down to 15, down to 13. Sorry. We draw Gavany Township, which makes me wish I had that bop out. Yeah, not playing the bop was quite a big mistake. We're going to attack for 5 here, putting opponent to 6, which is where we're starting to rue our missed point of damage here. It has another meddling mage naming voice, so he's trapped this voice in our hand, and he also plays a Thalia's lieutenant, which is going to pump all his guys, so he's going to be able to attack for quite a lot here. We're going to be able to survive it if we chump the champion. And we're going to pump our guys, but I don't think we're going to be able to survive this. I mean, we can attack with voice, but it doesn't quite do enough. Our opponent's just going to be able to chump with a Thalia or a meddling mage. Freebooter is going to try and take our Path to Exile, so we're going to have to cast it. But I just don't think we've got enough life to survive this, unfortunately. Yeah, I think maybe a few play mistakes on my end of things, we might have been able to force something more. But yeah, at this stage, our opponent's really got strong hold on the game, and unfortunately, he's going to be able to attack for a lot of damage. And our lack of removal on our deck is certainly hurting us there. So let's take a look at the sideboard. Okay, so here we are with the deck, looking at sideboarding. We don't have a ton, there's no mass removal in our deck, unfortunately, so I don't really fancy changing too much, I would say. Overall, I think Stony Silence isn't useful. Aven Mind Sensor doesn't really do anything. Eidolon I suppose you could run it as a way of preventing them casting multiple humans a turn, but seems a little bit sketchy. Leyline doesn't really do anything. Lindvala doesn't really do anything. I don't think there's a lot of activated abilities. There's certainly a lot of abilities, but not too many activated ones. Elspeth is potentially good if their creatures sort of grow out of hand, but not sure about that one as to whether it's that good or not. Certainly a bit slow against their deck. Pride Mage doesn't really do anything. Cigar doesn't really do anything. Reclamation Sage and Surgical Extraction. Yeah, I'd be tempted not to sideboard at all, to be honest. It's not a great matchup for us, so maybe the sideboard needs tweaking a little bit if you're running into 5-colour humans quite a lot. I'm not entirely sure what you would want. Maybe some sort of mass removal or additional removal in the sideboard, potentially, or something along those lines, I guess. But yeah, as it stands, I don't think we're necessarily sideboarding anything in. Maybe Elspeth, maybe Eidolon, but probably not. Okay, we're back with game 2. This is our opening hand. It's not awful, but at the same time, if we don't hit the second land, we're going to really struggle. I think we mulliganed this. Yeah, our 6-card hand is a little better. We've got a removal spell, which is nice. Definitely useful against the deck we're playing against, and we've got a couple of 3-drops. I don't know if the opening hand might have been better, but certainly if we didn't draw a second land, it wouldn't have been too great. We see Scavenging Ooze on top, which is okay. I think we're just going to crack the fetch here. I suppose we could have waited for a Scavenging Ooze, and then at least we have a definite 2-drop. Maybe that was a mistake there, cracking the fetch. Onto a second land. Yeah, probably should have waited on the crack and, well, maybe just played a normal basic. So I'm going to play this freebooter, so we're going to use the path rather than lose it to the freebooter. Here, Champion is one of the more annoying cards, so I feel fairly justified in doing that. Drop Corsair here, seeing that we've got a fetch land on top, which is a little annoying, but there you go. Reflexor Mage bounces the Corsair, which is going to set us back a bit. And so we're going to have to play Excavator next turn. And we'll play this land out of the graveyard for value. Phantasmal Image copies Reflexor Mage, which is quite irritating. And then we get a Kessig Malcontents, which is a card I haven't really come across before. But yeah, this seems to be finding some cachet in the humans decks. Obviously, it adds up to quite a lot of damage when it enters the battlefield. Deals damage equal to the number of humans to target player. So obviously, dealing 4 damage there to the dome, which is pretty nice. And it's still a 3-1 with me with no blockers. So that's pretty tasty here. Gonna crack our fetch here. And we can play Corsair. I land off the top and then into a Scavenging Ooze. Still not a lot of great blocks. We see another Reflector Mage here, which is going to bounce the Corsair. And that's followed up by a Phantasmal Image, copying the Kessig Malcontents, which will then deal 6 damage to us. And yeah, we're just dead here. We can block the Malcontents. We take 5, and that's us done. So yeah, didn't go very well, to be honest. Reflector Mage is a real pain against our deck, just because we're so free drop heavy that they can obviously bounce our 3 drops back to us, and it takes a lot of effort for us to replay those. So yeah, this is a pretty rough matchup. I'm sure it could go better than it did here. We had some slightly awkward hands, and we didn't get our best creatures out onto the board really. But yeah, I think generally this is going to be a rough matchup. It's sort of like a aggro tempo deck, which is going to be quite punishing on us. As I say, for Reflector Mage, particularly problematic, as it can bounce our 3-drops and make it very difficult for us to move things forward on the board.